Hi crafters, Raquel here with Paints and Glitter. Today I am introducing you to Sweet Honeypot. This is the newest Create and Make die set from Tonic Studios. It is absolutely darling and I know it's going to fly out the doors. So the first thing that I'm going to tell you is that if you're watching this video and you've not picked this up yet, go ahead and click on one of my links in the description bar of this video so you can pick this up. If you love 3D crafting, you're going to absolutely love what this makes. So this is an 18-piece die set. As you can see here, you have a foundation piece and you have some other little pieces here. This one's going to create the little lid cap so that you can open the little jar or the little honey pot. This one here is going to come in handy and I'll share with you how. You see immediately there's a little bee. And of course over here, this little panel has two little bees as well. So this is actually going to create the sides of your little honey pot. And then this is going to create the lid along with this portion here. This one is a decorative piece that you can use on the very top of your little lid, which is going to be over here. And you can use it in conjunction, both of these little hexagons together. Then these little panels here are decorative for the sides of the lid. You have a little tag, which by the way does read, "You're so sweet." It's absolutely adorable. And I love the shape of that particular tag. I think it plays well with this make. Then there is a layering piece here. So if you want to just use your solid papers and you don't want to use that intricate die, then you can go ahead and just use your pretty cardstock. And then you can do the same for the lid here. So let's get crafting. I'm going to start with the foundation, and for this I'm using this ballet pink cardstock. I just wanted to go cutesy with this particular make. So you're going to be cutting out this piece here, and this is, as I had said, the side of your honey pot. So you're going to actually need 12 pieces that look just like this. So you do see that I have 3 here, and then you're going to be decorating this while it is still flat. And I meant to mention this little piece here. There's this one as well, which is going to help decorate the top portion. So start there because you're going to want to decorate these while you can still access each panel individually. And you can tell that I've already folded this, so I'm gonna, of course, stress to you that you do want to properly fold every single little tab there. Then there's this tab on the side, the one here folds away from you, and then lastly the top one is a valley fold. So go ahead and decorate those little portions there. And then you're going to cut out of whichever paper you like this piece here. But here's this beautiful panel that is decorative. And I absolutely love that they added the little bees and the honeycomb together. And I'm using here, this paper is called Inca Gold. And I just wanted this to be shiny and beautiful. So of course I'm using the mirror card as my topmost decorative panel. Because this mirror card has this smooth sheen on top of it, it creates a little bit of difficulty to adhere things onto it, but it's the perfect piece. Look at that shine, so beautiful for your decorative panels. Here's one that I've already decorated with my Nuvo drops. And again, I wanted to go with a super playful, cutesy look for this. So I've used a crystal drop in the color Carnation Pink, along with one of my favorite drops, which is a dream drop in the color Fairy Wings. And that's how I achieved that look there. So I'll be doing that with this panel as well. But first, I want you to take out your paper creaser. You're going to need this for this type of make because for every single one of these papers, you're going to want to train that paper, and that is the easiest way to get that nice curve without tearing your paper. So again, you're going to want to fold those portions first before you do anything else. And then before you adhere these together, you're going to want to apply that decorative piece. So I'm going to place this one here, actually, on this one. You get to see what that looks like. I'm going to go ahead and apply this one also. I'm going to now decorate the little panel using some of these dream drops, and this is easy enough. This is just, of course, something that I do for, personal taste, but I thought it would be fun to go ahead and do so just to give it a little bit of a more whimsical look. And then I'm going to set it aside to dry. To make this a little bit easier as far as the application on larger areas, I just use my little pokey tool. Of course, you could use a paintbrush if you want to. I just find that this is wonderful just to move that drop around. And make sure you set them aside to dry. Now to create the base of this jar, as you see here, I have two pieces I've cut out of 300 GSM card because I like my base of any 3D project to be nice and sturdy. And this is the duodecagon that you can cut out using the die included in the set. Here's one of the panels that I'm going to start with. And I want to stress that all you have to do is adhere that very bottom-most little tab to the edge of that duodecagon there, and all of the edges are going to meet exactly. So you can position this where it is most comfortable for you, of course, but you're going to want to adhere all 12 of these to every single one of those little edges to get your jar started. So this is why it was a good idea to decorate them, of course, ahead of time, just because it's going to make it a lot easier. However, you'll see at the end of this video what this particular jar will start looking like, and it was a lot of fun, of course, to create. But I'm going to start adhering each one of these on the bottom tab only first, and I'm going to adhere all the way around, and then you're going to see that result in a moment, and then we'll continue. Now that I have all 12 of these panels adhered to the base, what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip it over. I'm now going to take a second piece and then I'm going to adhere it right to the base because I want this to be nice and sturdy before I proceed. And of course, you can have this match the rest of your papers. I'm going to use a second piece of 300 GSM first. And then at the end, I'll go ahead and add a decorative panel. I just like to have a nice sturdy base. And of course, if you want to, you could also use a piece of gray board here and then cover that with paper. If you're not familiar with gray board, it's available from Tonic Studios, and it's the thickness of perhaps a thick cereal box, which of course, if you want to recycle, then you can definitely do that. I would just double it up. We're now going to start adhering these panels, and of course, you're going to have to go all the way around. And here, this is why I wanted to add that second piece first. So let me make sure this is in camera. I wanted to add that second piece first because I want this to be really nice and sturdy while I'm manipulating these papers. So it's really important that you do that, and I highly recommend that you do use your thicker card for that. So naturally, you're going to want to start at the bottom here and work your way up. And each one of these little tabs, it's going to need some adhesive. You don't need a lot. What you do need is to make sure that the little tab that you have at the top here faces the inside. So you're going to want to make sure you fold that in. And if you would like to, you can first adhere the topmost tab. Just make sure this is overlapping correctly. And adhere that topmost tab first, if you like. And then go all the way to the bottom and make sure that bottommost tab is nicely adhered. And then walk your way up with each tab, making sure there's no gap there, and also making sure that this is a nice straight adhesion without your panels overlapping one another. And don't be afraid to hold this sturdy with your hands because it is paper. But just be careful that you're not pulling it so hard that you're separating the hard work that you've already done. But here I'm a little over halfway done, and I just wanted to share with you the outcome. And of course, to also just mention that I find different little ways to hold the paper and such things because of being left-handed that I share with you. But of course, you have to work in the way that's most comfortable for you. So if you're right-handed, you might start on the right and work your way to the left. However, I tend to find that I start my projects on the left and work my way to the right, but there's no wrong way to go about it, of course. I just would say to make sure that you're not rushing through this process, because that's something I say in all of my videos when I'm creating a 3D make, is that the videos make it look like you're going really fast, of course, because we try to make them so that the videos aren't too long. However, you shouldn't rush through it, just to make sure that, for instance, all of your tabs are making full contact before you move on, and that will ensure a nice even adhesion all the way around. You should now have something that looks like this, which is really, really pretty. And now you're going to see here, and I'm going to point it out from here, the little tabs inside. You're going to want to adhere every single one of those to each adjacent panel. Make sure that you just add your drop of adhesive. I try to do all of them at once, if I'm being honest. I'm gonna hold it together and then just hold it long enough that I know it's making contact before I move on to the next one. So I'm going to keep working my way around, and then I'll come back when all of those are adhered. Once you have all of those little inside tabs adhered, you can see there, it makes one continuous line. Now what you're going to do is that you're going to push these portions in. So right along the score line, and it might feel a little bit tricky at first, but they're going to collapse and then join their little adjacent tab, okay? So what you want to do is make sure that you do this all the way around. It's gonna feel like a little bit of a puzzle. Okay, so you'll work it out, but make sure that they all fall flat, just as you see there. And now what you're going to do is adhere these the same way. So go ahead and apply adhesive here. And then make sure you hold this so that this line here does not surpass the edge of your jar. So you're holding that paper, making sure that this creates a nice smooth finish here. And if you're doing it right on this edge, the rest will take care of itself. And then just continue along, putting pressure on that. And again, continuing this angle there so that you get a really nice smooth edge. So you shouldn't see an overlap when you hold your jar in this direction. Now, one little point I can give you here is that the way that I'm holding this is so that I can push back on that little edge that we had just put together. So I push back on that with my hands as needed, just to make sure that this remains nice and flush and that it's not curving in as I'm adhering these little top panels. And while I'm doing this, I just want to say a huge thank you to those of you who have subscribed to this channel and have come back and left such kind messages And the comments, I do read them all. I try to respond to all of them. So don't forget that if you do enjoy crafty videos such as these, that a thumbs up really helps the analytics of the channel. And of course, leaving a comment helps as well. So every little bit helps. So I very, very much appreciate you guys. Once this is all adhered, you now have the option to cover up all of these little seam lines, and the way to do so is with this piece that you can cut out using the die included. You're going to notice that the die will also emboss the paper and gives it 3 little teardrop shapes there that I think are absolutely beautiful. So if you're going to go through the trouble of cutting them out, then by all means you can also emboss it. I think it's well worth it to give your piece a really beautiful finish. And this is just going to cover these, and what you're going to do is place this on top of the seam so that the pointed portion faces the inside of the jar, and then you're going to find that the 2 other edges should match your little angle here exactly. Push it right toward the edge and apply gentle pressure so you don't lose that beautiful embossing. Adhere these all the way around. Before I continue, I wanted to mention to you that the size of this aperture is about 2 3/4 inches wide. So bear that in mind if you're going to bake maybe some goodies to place inside. If they're little cookies or biscuits, then they cannot be any larger than that. I would make them maybe 2.5 inches in diameter, so that way they fit really nicely inside. I know that that's a really good use of this box, so I figured I should let you know. So I'm going to adhere all of these, and I'll be right back. For the lid, we can start here. You're going to be cutting one piece like this, and you can fold all of the lines away from you. So every single one is a mountain fold. And then there are these tabs here as well. Fold those down. You can also decorate the top. I've used gold glitter card from Tonic Studios for this finished piece here. And all you have to do once you decorate it is to adhere these little panels together, or tabs. Because it's small enough, I can just go ahead and apply adhesive all the way around, and then hold these by just pushing this paper, and then hold it just like so, making sure that those lines are perpendicular to the base. You're going to work your way all the way around, and it's going to look like a little cap. And it's that simple, just to adhere all of those pieces. Once that's nice and dry, of course, you can continue assembling the lid, and you're going to have 6 pieces that look like this. And as you can see, I've gone ahead and added the decorative panels. What I did is that I dry embossed those little decorative panels that I had cut out in buttermilk yellow. I then also took some Gold Coast glitter drop and I placed it in different little hexagons that had been embossed into the paper. So if you happen to have an embossing folder, then of course you can take advantage of that. The darker color is one of the dual dot markers from Tonic Studios that I just use to go ahead and color some of those little hexagons. So these, of course, are going to adhere one to another. There's this little strip here, and all you have to do is adhere one piece to another just along that strip at first. And the little tabs there, you're going to fold away. These you can also fold away. You can fold these as a valley fold and then fold these tabs on the top also. Okay, so you may want to do that before you start your assembly, of course. It'll help you nestle these together much more easily. And then just make sure that you apply pressure so that the panels are meeting really precisely at this little point here. And the same goes for the bottom. You get a nice little triangular shape there. Once you have a piece that looks like this, you can flip it over. And you can start adhering these portions down. I've gone ahead and applied adhesive to all of them, and now I'm just going to start folding them in. Once that's fully adhered, you can take another piece of card and adhere it in the center. However, it's best to just adhere these little tabs first. But what you want to make sure you do here is that those tabs join the adjacent panel, and then that they are meeting exactly where the fold line is in the previous one. Not superseding that, so that way there's no overlapping. And then that way you get a really nice straight edge here. It should start looking like that. You can tell there. It starts looking far more tidy. Once those are all dried, then of course you can cover this. However, you're going to want to place this little piece on first. So what you're going to do here is that you can push these tabs out now. You can see these can all now be perpendicular to the base. Apply adhesive on these. And this is going to now fit on top. So match the angles. And don't worry about the adhesive, it will dry clear if you're using Nuvo Deluxe adhesive. But now flip this over and then make sure that those tabs are making contact with this outer portion. So just press on each one of those, making sure that you're holding this firm so that it actually reaches the very bottom edge there. Once that's fully dry, you can flip this over and then cover those seams with another piece of card. Okay, so now that's nicely covered, and it's going to fit right on top of your jar. It looks absolutely darling. And then of course you can decorate this as you wish. There's a little tag that you can cut, and it does come with a little embossing plate that you can run over the paper that says "You're so sweet." And of course you can add this to it. You can also add the little bee that's included, and it will cut out the little wings. So if you want to match it up to the little side panels, you can do that. I'm going to go ahead and decorate this, and I'll be back and share with you what it looks like. Okay, so I've gone ahead and finished decorating these gorgeous jars. And what I've done here is that I took the little sentiment tag and I placed it on top with a little bow created with some marigold yellow Craft Perfect twine. And this type of twine you can get directly from Tonic Studios. I also happen to have it in this natural color. And what I did here, and I'll show you by tipping this over, is that I adhered it to the actual little knob there at the top. So I did tie it all the way around and then created a little bow here for the tag, but I also added some little charms that I happen to have with the little bees and the honeycomb. Then this entire little grouping of flowers here I added by using these little birdie flowers that I recently picked up from the Tonic Studios USA store. So this is not available over in the UK, but here in the US, you can definitely pick up these flowers and many others from Tonic Studios. To stay with the yellows, that's the combination that I went ahead and used here. Then I did use some Nuvo drops to go ahead and keep adding shine, and they were Honey Gold and Gold Coast, along with also the clear one that is called Morning Dew, and that I just used on a few of the flowers just to make it look like little raindrops. And then I added one of the little bees cut in gold glitter card there. Then these little leaves were actually given to me, I think, maybe, I can't recall now, but they're little wooden pieces. And what I did there is that I took the little fallout of the bees that I used to decorate here on the sides, the little wing fallouts, I adhered on top of that. And then, by the way, I did go ahead and decorate the sides. And here, to make some of this honeycomb stand out a little bit more, I use the Nuvo Glimmer Paste in the color Glitterati Gold, and that is just something that I wanted to apply to those little portions there, because I did do every other panel with that, just because I had used this beautiful paper and I wanted that to be part of the design here. And then here, just to represent kind of honey dripping down, I did use some of those little drops. And I also colored the honeycomb embossing with different colors of Nuvo drops on top. And I just love the results of that. Then to finish this other one, which is a bit more whimsical, as you can see here, you can really tell the shine there. It's just, I love the way that this turned out. So here's where I use that natural jute on the top. I also added the little tag here on this side. This time I cut it out of the same color mirror card as I did here. And then it does have Majestic Gold card behind it. And again, some little charms, just because I think they look so cute. Then I did use some seam binding, and then I finished that off with more little bees. And this time around, I did use the little shadow portion that you can cut out. And then I also used some glitter card for the wings, and then some little Nuvo drops in different colors there. From the paper collection that I used to decorate this particular jar, I had this little sentiment, and I really wanted to use it. It says, "Make your life worth loving," and it has little birds on there, and I just love that. So I did go ahead and use that. Those are my results. I hope that you have enjoyed this tutorial. Don't forget to leave a comment below if you're new to my channel. I also invite you to subscribe and leave a thumbs up. It really helps the analytics of this channel and to help the channel grow. And of course, I invite you to watch future videos of mine. But as I always say, I do hope that you can be inspired and be blessed. And I thank you so much for watching.